I'm Joe Tidd. I'm Professor of Technology and Innovation Management at SPRU, Science Policy Research Unit at the University of Sussex, UK.
I'm John Besant and I'm Professor of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the University of Exeter in the UK. They range from public and private sector, manufacturing and services. We've tried to cover the spectrum. And some of them relate to startups, some of them are sort of large, well-known organisations. We've tried to do quite a lot of mini boxes, sort of short snapshot cases in the text itself, which would be a useful point perhaps for discussion within a lecture. And then in each chapter there's a more extended case which would allow more classroom discussion, perhaps more tutorial kind of work. The kinds of cases, there are examples from Procter & Gamble, where there is, in addition to a written text case, a podcast interview with one of their senior managers. With Zara, the fashion textiles company.
The text we have, text Innovation in Action, Entrepreneurs in Action, and they are small, hopefully quite directed, focused examples for class discussion. But the more extended case material, both the video and the written cases on the website, which are explicitly linked to the specific text there. The idea behind that was not to limit it to the usual suspects, the large American manufacturing companies. We have examples, as John said. Procter & Gamble is literally a textbook example. 3M is literally a textbook example. So 3 or 4 companies that you have to cover. Google's another one. But the feedback we got from the first edition and the feedback we got from students using the text and also from looking at competitors' texts is really students are pretty tired of the same old large household names, exclusively manufacturing, primarily North American. And so, as John said, we've looked at very small companies, we've looked at European, Asian, Indian companies, and we've also got a lot of case material now coming from the public and the third sector, social businesses. So there's a whole range of types of cases that we hope will be more engaging, particularly for an undergraduate audience. Undergraduate audience is often thinking about where might I be employed in a year or two's time. And when we've done straw polls in class, very, very few of them aspire to work in very large multinational manufacturing companies, and often they want to work for themselves, they want to work for a social business, they're going to the public sector, they might have a startup. And so we're trying to engage these people quite early on.
I think the other thing to add to that is we've tried very much to get the cases where we can expressed in the words of somebody who's directly involved. So quite a few of the video and podcast interviews are essentially case stories told from the person who's directly involved. As Joe said, we've tried to cover the different bases. There's, for example, an interview with an Indian manager who's essentially working with what are sometimes called bottom of the pyramid innovations, essentially products and services configured for population on very low incomes. Talking about the challenges in doing that provides from the horse's mouth a perspective on that very important area. There's another interview with a woman who set up a social enterprise which effectively takes the kind of concept of home shopping but moves it to miners in South Africa, sending back money via mobile phones to buy goods which their families can then consume. And essentially it's a classic piece of social enterprise. She started it herself. The case is full of a lot of the difficulties she encountered in making that work. So what we've tried to do is to use the media to get at stories rather than, as is often the case, just write in third person. So we're trying to bring that perspective as well.